next most important thing after posture is how you grip the club. Okay, now gripping it too tight I find is a big problem with most golfers. Okay, they get a little bit tense and they want to squeeze the club. If you squeeze the club like this, it's not going to swing. My hands have to be able to work correctly. I've got to have wrist action going back, and I've got to turn my shoulders correctly. For the correct wrist action, you need to have the correct grip. Okay, I like to use the word hold. Okay, you hold the club, you don't squeeze it. Okay, you don't want white knuckles. You don't want your knuckles all white when you're holding the club. Holding's a nice relaxed thing. And you've got to keep the same grip pressure throughout the swing. If your grip pressure is too tight, okay, and let me give you a scale. 0 is letting it go. 10 is squeezing it. Most of your tour pros don't grip it on a 0 or a 10, they grip it on a 3. Okay, so they grip it quite lightly. During the swing, you maintain the same grip pressure. I'm not tightening up my hands. I'm not killing any little baby animals over here. If I'm holding a hamster in my hand, I'm not squashing him at impact. I'm basically swinging with nice, easy hands. Okay, so the grip itself must be relaxed. Now a little more technical. The grip starts in the base of the fingers. Okay, where is the base of the fingers? Over here. Okay, you don't hold the club in the palm of your hand. You don't hold it over here in the fingertips. It's exactly between your fingers and between the palm of your hand. So it's over here. Now what I've got to show you is a nice thing called a grip routine. All pros have a grip routine. First, place your left hand on the top of the club. Get the grip in the base of your fingers like so. Okay, you'll notice my grip's not all the way up here. You lose control of the club if your hand's too high up. You've got to grip it about a finger width down from the top of the club. Okay, so I'm not gripping right at the top. I'm gripping a finger width down. So we've got it in the base of the fingers. The easiest way to hold the club is if you actually grip it up here like this. Okay, you'll notice that the pad of my left hand sits above the grip. The pad of the left hand sits above the grip. I don't have the grip sitting over here. Okay, that's incorrect. So I've got the grip sitting in that little groove over here. There's no ways my wrist can work correctly. So the grip doesn't sit here, it sits over here. Okay, exactly between the baby finger and the palm of the hand. Okay, now the next thing, once we're holding the club, this thumb mustn't sit all low. If your left thumb sits too low, your wrist can't work correctly. Your left thumb has to sit up here like so. Okay, and you'll notice the moment I lift my thumb upwards, okay, not upwards this way, upwards this way. The moment I lift it upwards like that, it changes a few things. Okay, let's have a look what it changes. My grip started off there. I lift my thumb up, and now all of a sudden it runs across my hand. Okay, that's quite important. So it now runs across my hand. So it's not in my hand like that, it runs at a slight angle. I close my hand. When I look straight down at my hand, I want to be able to see 2.5 knuckles on my left hand. When I look straight down at my left hand, I want to see 2.5 knuckles. Okay, so I can see these knuckles over here. If I've got my hand too much under the club, I can't see any knuckles. So my left hand sits on top of the club a little bit. That's why I say one thing, if you hold it, it's much easier holding the club up here. Okay, if I hold it here at waist height like that, you tend to grip it correctly. This sits correctly, and the club automatically runs a bit across your hand. Okay, so that's quite important. Okay, I find people that I coach, they tend to get this left arm all close to their body and then they try and grip the club. Okay, now that's a little bit difficult because you can't get your hand over here if your left arm's against your body. Okay, it's much easier if you're standing away from it, bending over the ball a little bit, almost like you're already in your address position, and to lift the club up like this. You can see my arm's not touching my body, and it's easy to see enough knuckles on my left hand. Now the next thing in the grip's where to put your right hand. Okay, so I'm putting it on the club the same way I put my left hand on the club. I'm pulling this thumb up here. I'm pulling it quite high. You'll notice when I do that, that this little groove over here, okay, that groove in my hand, the moment I pull that up, it kind of lines up with my left thumb. Okay, so it lines up with my left thumb. And when I got it lined up like that, you'll notice there's a little gap over here. They call that the trigger finger, the gap in the right hand. Okay, the moment I get that lined up and there's a little gap over there, I try and get my hands close together and I get that to be the little home for my left thumb. Okay, almost like a little snail getting into his shell. Okay, so I get that to be the home for my left thumb. So that thumb fits quite snugly in that groove. Okay, if that isn't on correctly at the top of your backswing, your grip's going to fall apart. Okay, so what you want to do is line that up. You can see there's a little gap over here. The lowest part of the grip is not my thumb. Okay, the lowest part of the grip is that top of my index finger. Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus grip what they call interlock. And so do most lady golfers, funnily enough. Okay, interlock, if I get these fingers, okay, the forefinger of your left hand and the pinky of your right hand, if I just lift them up and shift my hands closer together, that's called the interlock grip. Okay, so that's the interlock grip. Okay, and if you see it from this angle, you can see I've got 3 fingers of my right hand on the club. That's quite important. 3 fingers of the right hand on the club. Why is it important? I see a lot of people get this wrong, and this finger kind of sits over here. Okay, 3 fingers of your right hand must be on the club when gripping interlock. Okay, so your grip routine. Don't grip right at the top of the club. Grip about a finger width from the top. When you take your grip, have your left arm away from your body. If it's over here, you're not going to grip it right. Even better, grip the club up here. Don't put the club on the ground. I grip it in the base of the fingers. My thumb sits high. You can see 2.5 knuckles looking straight down. Okay, my right hand, baseball would be like that. I'll line this little groove up with my thumb. Got a little gap over here at the bottom. And that's baseball. Interlock, those 2 fingers lock in. Okay, reason ladies use this grip, because if you've got long fingernails, you can't grip it overlap. Okay, if you try overlap like that, this little fingernail over here digs into your hand. Okay, so that's interlock, overlap, I just rest it on like that. Okay, funny enough, there are other grips. I've seen pros use double overlap. Okay, but as a beginner, you won't do that. There's about 1 or 2 pros on tour that grip like that. Greg Norman, one of the world #1s, he used to grip what they call intermesh. Okay, he's the only golfer in the world ever to grip like that. These 2 fingers weren't locked. They weren't overlap. They were in there like that. Okay, they sat all funny like that, but he played good golf. Okay, so we're on the grip. Grip pressure. If you're squeezing the club too tight during the swing, you're not going to be able to release the club correctly. Okay, so you're basically going to keep the club open and you're going to block.